Hi there everyone! Welcome to Deck the Home's How-To Holiday series. Today on How-To Holidays, I'm showing you how to make a layered bow using multiple ribbons that you can use on your Christmas tree, your Christmas wreath, or even on your mantle. Stay tuned. So to get started, what you need is ribbons of your choice. So I'm going to be using a 4-inch red velvet ribbon. This is just from Michaels. I'm going to be using a 2.5-inch plaid and a 2.5-inch glittered green ribbon for this bow. And then you also need good ribbon scissors. Good fabric scissors are really important for cutting ribbon. Something to tie your bow off with, even floral wire, or if you're someone who has a hard time with floral wire, or if you're doing this for an outside bow, I highly recommend using zip ties or cable ties instead. They're super easy to use and a lot easier on your hands if you're making lots of bows, or again, if you're putting it outside, it'll hold it a little bit better. And then I just have wire cutters here as well to cut my floral wire. So let's get started. So when doing a multi-layered bow with different ribbons, I like to start with my biggest ribbon first. If you're not using a larger ribbon, all your ribbons are the same size, you can start with whatever ribbon you prefer. I typically like to start with something solid in the back, so which is why I picked this red. And you're just going to roll off the ribbon that you want. So I've got my tail here. I'm going to make I'd probably say that's like a 18-inch tail roughly, give or take. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pinch where I want my tail to end and my bow to begin. So right there, I've got this pinch between my thumb and my index finger. And then I'm just going to start making loops. So my first loop, I'm going to make, and I do that. And then again, I'm just making that first loop. And I've got it pinched again between my thumb and my index finger. Everything is going to go through my thumb or my index finger. Okay? So I'm going to roll some more ribbon off here. What we're going to do now, so that we see the pretty side of the ribbon, because this side's unfinished, the back, we're going to twist. So you're just going to twist it 180 degrees and just give it a good twist. All right, sometimes ribbons can be a little bit finicky about this. So we're going to twist it. Having a little trouble with my ribbon here. All right. And then we're just going to make another loop about the same size as our other one. Again, taking it to my thumb and my index finger. And don't worry if your bow doesn't look pretty right now. We can fluff all of that up at the end and make it look really pretty. But we do want to make sure that we've got our loops about the right size. I think I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger. And all I'm doing is just pulling a little bit of extra off. All right, roll. And then again, same thing, twist and make another loop. I'm going to make all of these loops for this layer about the same size. All right, so I'm going to do 3. I'm going to stop with 3 for the red. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this because I'm not going to add any more red to it. I'm just going to cut just however long of a tail I think I need. I'll go back in and finish these at the end. So now I've got my red layer. So I'm going to add my plaid next. So again, very similar concept. We're going to take, if we want a tail, which I want a little bit of a tail on this one, not as long as the back. So I'm going to take and I'm just going to put that right between my thumb and my index finger. And then I'm just going to start making my loops, the same as I did with the red. So I'm going to tuck that. And again, don't worry if your bow looks a little smushed at this point. It's going to be okay. All right. Going to do the same thing again. Thumb, index finger. And I did twist it. All right. This time I think I'm going to make 4 loops. And the fun thing about this is you can make as many loops as you want. There's no rule that says you have to make 3 loops, 4 loops. You can do as many as you want. Of course, the more loops you do, the bigger the bow is going to be. I think I'm going to do 4 of this ribbon. Again, I'm just twisting and going into my index finger. So everything for this bow is right here in my hand. So I'm going to roll off my ribbon and I'm going to cut my tail. Again, I'll go in and clean these up. It's always nice to have a little bit extra so that you can trim it to what you want. And then finally, I'm going to add this green glitter. Of course, you know, it's not Christmas without a little bit of glitter, right? So I'm just going to move those tails out of the way so you can see. So again, I'm going in with my green. I'm going to pinch it, and I'm going to put it right between my thumb and my index finger. So you can see that. And then I'm going to twist so that I hide the non-pretty side of my ribbon. And I'm just going to put those loops in there. I think I'm going to do 3 of the glitter. I don't want the glitter to overpower. I want to be able to see that plaid. So again, I've twisted this. This is going to be a little bit stiffer because it's got adhesive on it to hold that glitter on there. Again, twisting, everything is still between my thumb and my index finger. And you know what? I think I am going to do 1 more loop. I said I was going to do 3. I'm going to do 4. And you'll notice I'm not measuring any of this. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. This is how I make 90% of my bows during the holidays, is I don't really measure them. I just kind of eyeball them. They all look the same at the end of the day. There's not a whole lot of need to measure unless you're doing something where you really want your bows to be picture perfect, if you will, or like really spot on. So if you're doing like a staircase garland or maybe bows for your windows outside, you might want to do that. But for most things, I'm not doing that. I'm making like 1 bow or 2 bows. And so I'll just make them in my hand. So now I've got my bow here in my hand. I've got my different ribbons, and it's time to tie it off. So I'm going to use the cable tie because I find it a little bit easier to use. So I'm going to use the cable tie because I find it a little bit easier to use and hold the bow together. And again, all you're doing with this is you're taking where your thumb and your index finger is, and I'm going to slide this kind of in between there. And when you have a big bow like this, it's sometimes kind of hard. So I'm just going to slide it in, feeling my way around. You want to hold your bow kind of tight at this point because your hand's the only thing. So I'm bringing it up through my hand, kind of through my fingers, where that is. And then I'm just going to take and pull this around back. And I'm going to thread it through. And look, watch this. This is super simple. I'm going to switch hands. Just pull it tight. And the nice thing about cable ties is you can pull it really tight and that bow is not going to go anywhere. So now that we've done that, I'm going to trim off this extra cable because I don't need this. So this is garbage. And now I have my bow that I'm going to go in and fluff. So again, this is when you go in and you make the loops really pretty. And you can move them around however you want. This is also when you can do things with the tails. So if your tails, you can move them around. If you were attaching this to a project with a cable tie, what I would do is just run another cable tie through the back here and attach it to my project, whether that be a wreath or a lamppost or what have you. Again, I'm just kind of going through and fluffing up my loops. I'm going to go ahead and trim this one tail. So I'm going to trim some of my tails because they're a little bit long. So this one I'm going to do on a diagonal, I think. So I'm just angling my scissors at about a 45-degree angle and just cutting that. Same with this one. I'm just going to angle it 45, cut that. So that'll shorten those. And then you can kind of have them coming out of the middle, which is kind of fun. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my plaid. I'm not going to go as short. Just trim. And do the same thing on this side. This one's a little bit frayed. So I'm going to trim that. And then with the red, I'm going to do the fishtails. So to do the fishtails, what you want to do is fold your ribbon in half. Kind of bring the two outside seams together. And then from the outside edge, I'm going to take my scissors, I'm going to put them on a 45, and I'm going to cut. And I'm cutting a little bit slow because this velvet is a little bit plush. And that gives you the fishtail. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Fishtail again. Just line up those seams. All right, and fishtail. And that is a layered bow. Now again, you can do as many layers as you want. You can repeat the process with different ribbons. So maybe you want to make a 5-ribbon bow or a 6-ribbon bow. You could do that. That would be very pretty. But that is how you make a layered bow. I hope this video inspires you to create something beautiful for your own home. Thanks for watching this how-to holiday video. And for more how-to holidays, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.